So you've got some time to yourself and you're thinking, I'm gonna play some PlayStation. So you reach for your controller and this happens.
Ah yes, the infamous dead controller. No power, no light, no reaction, no response. You've seen this before 100 times, so you know what to do, right? You give it the old razzle dazzle and you plug it in to find this. Now this is something new that you haven't seen and you're kind of confused. So by investigating further, you find that the controller still works. You push the power button, it connects, but once you turn it off, it just goes back to doing the same thing with the erratic flashing light. So you're at a loss. What do you do?
Not to worry, because I'm going to show you a few things that you can try to troubleshoot your controller as well as your cord and even replace your battery if it comes to that. Stick around. What's up everybody, SpeedyMinute706 here, and I'm back with another video. If you're still here, then I'm assuming you're having problems with your PS4 controller. If you're not, then you're probably watching this so you can learn how to address those issues if they come up. Either way, I'm glad you're here. So we're gonna go ahead and get into this. The first thing I wanna suggest to you is resetting your controller. Now, on the back of your controller, you'll see this little bitty hole. It's right next to the screw on the right top of the controller on the screen. You take a pin and you push it in there and you hold it for a few seconds, I'd say 8 to 10, and you pull it out. It's just a little clicky button, and after that you try to push the PS button, and if that's what's wrong with it, it should try to power on, but as you can see here, that's not the case. And what this does, this resets the software inside of it, gives it a hard reset, and you should be able to at least use regular functionality. It may not sync up to your PlayStation right away unless you plug in the power cord, but at least it should power up and do some type of function. If not, then let's go to step 2. All right, so we're gonna look at the power cable. So you wanna look at the USB end. Look inside to make sure that there's no charring on the little metal pieces. Make sure that everything's intact. Make sure there's no frays in the cord. Make sure there's no wires sticking out, cuts, abrasions, things like that. And work your way down to the other side to the micro USB portion that connects to the actual controller. So once you get there, do the same inspection. Look at the base, make sure it's intact. Make sure there's no cracking or breaking, no wires exposed. Look at the top of it, make sure there's no bends, breaks, tears. You want to make sure it's sturdy and it's in good working condition. And try to look on the inside to see if you can also notice any charring or black marks. Because if you have a bad power cord, it can damage your controller. And a disclaimer for step 2, if your controller doesn't even power on, then more than likely it's not going to be a problem with your power cable, but it's still good to check to make sure it has full functionality and it's not causing any shortage or anything like that, which could potentially damage your PS4 controller. And if you do get your controller fixed, you're just going to revisit the situation. Step 3 is replacing the battery. Now, step 3 is not a big daunting task. It's actually one of the easier tasks for the PlayStation controller opposed to doing modifications. It's simply just unscrew, take apart, replace the battery, put it back together, screw it back in. But why don't I just show you for myself? All right, first we're gonna need our toolkit with a tri-wing and Phillips head attachment, our PS4 controller, and our replacement battery. All right, looking at the PS4 controller, there's gonna be 4 screws that we need to remove, 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom. I'm more than sure you've seen these before. So take them out however you see fit, and once that's done, you wanna remove the top of the shell from the handle portion first. There's a big reason why, and I'm about to explain to you. Just be careful when you do it. Some controllers are easy to do, some are not. I got lucky, mine was pretty easy. Now, whenever you remove it, be very careful because there's a flat white ribbon cable that's very fragile, and you don't want to just go around yanking on this and rip it. If you look on the left right there, you can see it. That's what communicates from the controller to the charging port. Very important. So once that's done, just grab the connector and just simply unconnect it. Don't worry about damaging anything because it's pretty sturdy. So now you can see what the battery's set in, the cradle. Grab your new battery, place it inside the cradle the same way, and connect it to the controller. Now, this will only go in one way, so you don't have to worry about cross-wiring anything or frying your controller. And it just pops in there, snap it into place, and you're good to go. The next thing is reassembly. So working opposite now, you're gonna go from front to back. Now be careful with the triggers because those have a tiny little spring on them, and if those pop out, it's a little challenging to get those put back into place. All right, take those screw posts and apply a little bit of pressure to get them to slide back into the controller. And once that's done, try to fit it back firmly and snugly. Right here, I push the power button to see if it works, and we have power. So we know that's what was wrong with the PS4 controller. So now, we just make sure we close this back up and call it good. All right, go ahead and take your screws and place them back inside. Now what's important here is you notice I'm going the opposite direction. I'm backing out the screws. And what that does, that resets the screws into the original threads. You don't want to create new threads in any plastic because you take the chance of rutting out those threads, and now you have screws that are pretty much useless on your controller. Do a once over, make sure everything's good and intact, and give it a test run. Power it on, it works just fine, and it's connected. All right, now the big test, making sure it charges. Because remember, this is how we found our first problem to begin with. And there we go. Now the light's looking like it normally should. It's got that vibrant glow, it fades in, it fades out, and if you push the power button, it still works just fine connected. You turn it off, and it goes back into charging mode. And that's it. That's all it really is. It's as simple as just taking some screws out, taking off the casing, replacing the battery, putting it back together. It's really not hard at all. A lot of these technological items that we get, we invest a lot of money into, and so the more we invest into them, the higher they are, the more we think, oh, I don't want to mess with it, because we're afraid of damaging it. It's like this glass ball you just don't want to drop and shatter all over the floor because you're not going to be able to get another one. But do the research and be confident in yourself. You can do these things, I can do these things, and I have the coordination of a blind rhino. So if I can do it, you can do it. Just take the chance, and it's like a mechanic with a vehicle. Some mechanics are out there to help you, and some are out there to take your money, and it's better off if you learn your vehicle and take care of it yourself. Not only will you be able to take care of your controllers and your gaming consoles, but you're also able to modify it and do a lot of different things with it, and it just gives you that stronger relationship between you and your consoles. That's really about it. Other than that, drop by my Facebook, my Instagram, my Twitter, check for updates. I have a couple more videos coming up, more with the Nintendo Switch. I also have a battery replacement video for you for the original Nintendo Switch and a shell replacement for the Nintendo Switch Lite. So stick around and watch out for those. I'm SpeedDemon8706. Have a great day.